Spokane County Prosecutor Steve Tucker announced today that he will not file charges against Deputy Brian Hirzel for shooting and killing Spokane Valley pastor Scott Creach in August. Tucker met with the Creach family at the Creach home and told them of his decision. KXLY4's McKay Allen was outside the house and spoke with Tucker and the Creach family just moments after their meeting. McKay?
Yeah, he drove there to meet with them. The meeting lasted about an hour. It took place around the kitchen table in the Creach family home, just feet from where Mr. Creach was shot and killed in August. And during that meeting, Tucker told the family he will not charge Deputy Brian Hirzel for Scott Creach's death. Were you satisfied that Deputy Hirzel did nothing wrong that night?
Yes, it's an unfortunate event and a tragedy because we lost a pastor, out here.
After a private meeting with Scott Creach's family, Prosecutor Steve Tucker walked outside the Creach home and announced his decision for the first time.
The determination is that the prosecutor's office is not going to file charges in the Deputy Hirzel case.
Tucker met with the Creach family for an hour this morning.
They had a lot of questions. They're not happy with the result. They wanted to see charges come out of this.
How do you deal with a citizen who legally has every right to have a handgun? He's protecting his own property. And if we're always going to have a situation where it's put it down, bang, nobody's going to survive that.
Alan Creach says his dad simply shouldn't have died that night. They have questions about everything from Hirzel's presence on private property to begin with, to his unmarked car, to the angle of the bullet and what was said and when.
This is not an issue about Steve. I want to make sure it's an issue with the quality of the investigation.
Alan Creach says the investigation was simply not thorough enough.
To me, it's just one more mess on top of a big fat mess, when the reality is we all ought to just sit down and solve the problem.
But those questions notwithstanding, the prosecutor says the shooting and his decision not to charge were ultimately decided by one thing.
It's a tough thing for us to go any further with a law enforcement officer in a full uniform, confronted by somebody with a gun that he thinks is going to shoot him. That's what it came down to.
Now, Alan Creach was not critical of the prosecutor's office. Rather, he was critical of the investigation and police procedures that he says led to the shooting. He had very specific concerns. We asked later today Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich about some of those concerns. He wouldn't get into specifics, but he did say there will be a deadly shooting review panel. That is called each time there is a deadly shooting in the county. It will be called in this case. They will convene Monday morning, and they will determine if Hirzel did anything wrong or if any training needs to be implemented.
We will ask them to take a look at this incident. I've given them instruction that this will be done completely, thoroughly, and most importantly, transparently.
The Creach family says they will continue to investigate this as well, and they have not ruled out a civil suit either. Reporting live, McKay Allen, KXLY4 HD News.